Good morning. This is Lynda Cromar. I wanted to share with you. I understand brand new people really don't know how to do emails, although they're really not that hard. I want to go over it like it's brand new. You've never done it before, and you want to learn how. This is a step-by-step, very generic and very simple process that I'm going to teach today, and I want you to actually follow along with me and do it with me in your own power lead system. And the way you want to do that is you're going to do one step at a time, and I'll tell you when to stop the video so that you can go do it yourself. Because if once you've done it yourself, you'll find out this is not hard and you'll love it. So you need to do it that way. This is called experiential learning, and it's a better way to learn than just watching by example and then trying to do it later and then forgetting all the steps. So number one, obviously you have to come over here to this place right here. The very first thing you're going to do is you're going to create what's called a campaign. Number one, create a campaign. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to actually come to where it says under emails. Sorry, it just flipped. Where it says emails, you see you have several choices. So come over here and add a new campaign. That is the number one thing you do. Number one, you add a new campaign. This campaign has no emails. This is just like, think of it like the eggshell. It is the eggshell that holds the emails. So the first thing you want to do is you actually want to call it broadcast, because this is where you're going to send your new emails on a daily basis. So we're going to call this broadcast, and then we're going to say this is our daily email. When you say it that way, you're going to be able to find it easily. It's very important to name it in a way that you can find it. So number one, you're creating your campaign. You're giving it a name that you can remember, and then you're going to create it. That's it. That's the first number one step. Okay, now I promised you I was going to say, now I want you to stop the video, and I want you to go to your own system. And I want you to just do that one step. Stop the video and do that first step. Create your own campaign. Now, I'm going to assume you did that. Now, if you're just watching all the way through, it's not going to be as effective for you. So the next step is you're going to create a new email. So I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to use any other campaign because this is your personal email. It is not something from the system. So as you can see, you now have your shell created, but there's no emails inside. So the next step, this is number two, is you're going to add a new email to this campaign. It's going to pop up and ask you to create a subject line, which is basically the title that you're going to see. This is what's going to show up when it's sent to the people on your list. So I'm going to say, you're going to change this. It's not going to be the same thing all the time. So this is step number two. You're creating your own campaign, your own email inside of your campaign, which we called broadcast daily emails. And notice there's no messages right now. We're going to create our first message. So the first one that you're going to create is called, you're going to do it right from this first thing right here, and you're going to add a new email to this campaign, and you need to give it a name. So I'm going to just say my daily broadcast. Now, this is not what you're going to want to say. You're going to want it to be relevant to something. Say you created some kind of content on Facebook. You put up a post or a video, or you did a blog post, or you did something like that, in other words, so that you could actually send them to that. So this is what it needs to say, something that gets them interested. And remember that your actual subject line is what's going to cause them to either say, yes, I would like to I would like to open that and find out what it's about. And I'll tell you one thing that always gets people to open my emails is a question. So, what would happen if you saw money emails? Now, I'm not giving them the whole thing now. This is just the subject line. So I'm going to add this. And it's going to show up on this list. And it's the only thing that's going to show up. So now it's going to tell me that I have an email. But guess what? There's nothing inside of that. The only thing that's in there is the title I just created. Now, this is number 2. Stop the video. Stop the video and do this part. Add a new email to this campaign and give it a name. That's number 2. Do it now. I'm going to assume that you stopped the video and you went and did that part. So this is number 3. We're going to view and edit, which pops up a box that shows the email. Now there's no content in this email yet. It just has a title. It's going to show up looking like this. Now this is where you write your own content, and this has to be totally individual. Like I said, send them to a training, send them to some kind of content you've created. Send them, don't do spammy emails like, you got to buy this right now. I can tell you that turns people off. Be yourself in this email. So what I write is not what you write. Don't copy me exactly. But one thing I do always do is say something like, hi, it's Lynda. You can do the same thing. Think of it as speaking if you were speaking to them in person. Now, let's just say that I just created a video. So I just talked about on my subject line, what would happen if you saw money emails? It has to all go together, doesn't it? I just did a video, and you are going, now remember, this is not copywriting. This is just me talking. To want to see it. I did a capture of my own emails showing I got money. Now, I don't know where you are in this. Maybe you have never made $1. Would you like to change that? Now this is not hypey because I would back this up with a video actually showing my results. If you have not made any results, don't do this. Make it about, here's my dream, here's where I see myself. Would you like to see yourself the same way? It has to be creative in your own thoughts, and it has to be true to where you are. See that for yourself. Okay, and then I would say, here is the video. And then I would make that a hyperlink to wherever it's going. I've taught about how you do that. Basically, you would highlight this, and you would click on this chain up here, and then you would send them to wherever it is, if it's in Facebook, if it's in a blog. This is not where you send them to a sales video. I promise you that's not a good idea. When it's a brand new list and they don't know you, it's not a good idea. And then after it is a hyperlink, I would say something like, see you tomorrow, Lynda. And another thing that actually makes your emails work really well and gets people interested in talking to you is to say something like, I am a real person and love to talk. Just hit reply. And also, I'm not going to put it in here right now, but I always have content like I have how they can get in touch with me in Facebook, how they can find me, and a couple of other places, my blog link, and my phone number generally. So that's how you would finish an email. So here you go. This is number 3. Stop the video. Create something. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the point is you're going to do this today. So stop the video and write something. It could be just say, welcome to my list. I'm happy to see you. I'm a real person. Please hit the reply and let's talk. It could be as simple as that. But make sure that it's not a hypey message saying, here is all of the sales. You need to look at this right now. That kind of stuff doesn't get people. In fact, that kind of stuff gets them to turn it off. So go ahead, create your own email, stop the video and do that. This is number 3. You must get this part done. Okay, so obviously you have to save this video so that it is actually completed. So that is the end of number 3. Please go do that part. Once you've completed that part, once you have an email that is in here, all you have to do now is to come back up here to where it says emails and go to emails again and then come over here to send. And you know how to send, right? You simply just select that email again, which you're going to find it. I said broadcast, and I did that on purpose so that it would show up in here. Do you have money worries? No, that's not it. Do you remember what I called it? Anyway, you've got to remember, I've got a whole bunch of things in here. So obviously, it's harder to find it when there's a lot of things. I think I said what? Oh, daily email. That's right. So this daily email right here is the one that I just created. And then you would select your whole list. And in your case, it might not be more than just 1 or 2 of these. But I suggest you actually click this up here. And then you would simply go to the next page down here. Choose when to send. It does give you the option of actually sending it later if you want to, or immediately. If you don't care about when it gets sent, you just go clear to the bottom and just finish the email. Or you can select a time. If you select a time, it will send you a confirmation right away, but that does not mean that they have sent that email right away. So I'm not going to send this one. Make sure you click this and then you would send the emails, because that's just a demo dummy email. It's not really what I want to send to my whole team. So what I'm actually going to send it to them is something I wrote yesterday, which I'm going to come back up and do that. So I went to email, email, send. This is number 4. This is what you want to do. Whoops. Email, email, send. Oh, I must have clicked something else instead. So I'm going to actually select a lesson because that's what I've been sending to people. But you're not really going to have to do that. You just need to have that basic email I created to show you how to do it. So I want Lynda's lesson 1. Let's be at the top. There it is. Okay, this is just my sending a real email, just so you can see I really do send an email every day. And this was the next thing I needed to do today as well. And I do send it to my whole list, regardless of how they got on that list. And I send one per day. That's all you want to do. You don't want to overdo it, because sending it more often than that can make them get off your list, and you don't want to do that. So I am going to send this email. I want it to go out today, and it will actually do it through a period of time. So now it says that it has set those all for the queue, and it's going to send them out within 3 hours. And that's the finishing touch. Now the last thing, number 5, now you've just sent your email for today, but number 5 is you go back and you view and edit. Make sure and keep this, and you can write these down because this is your daily plan of action for your emails. So we'll go back to that same email we just created, because you don't need to have another one. And I called that daily emails, which I found down here. And now you can actually edit this email. So first you have to go to the campaign, and then you can edit the email. So I had this one. That's not it. Okay, so this is how mine really looks. I do send an email pretty frequently, and this was one that was talking about the training last night. I've been having phone calls constantly. Oh, shit. I need to take the ring down. Okay, so what you need to do, let me go back to the actual email because that's not it. Okay, it's not broadcast daily. It's all right. Let's see if we can find it. You won't have this much trouble because you won't have hundreds of different possible things that you can send people. So what I'm going to do is find it, and I think it is. Okay. Podcast Daily. This is it right here. Yes, there it is. Okay, so what I want you to do now is, this would be the next day, not the same day, is you're going to view and edit. Now, it's going to be different content because you don't want to send the same thing all the time. So first off, you need to have a place where you're going to send them, and it's going to be to content. Now, it might be that you're going to send them to the training that we had last night. Wednesday night and Thursday night, we have trainings, and we teach in the Getting Started how to have your own replicated training page that somebody else did the training. You just simply have to do sending them to it. So say it was about that, I could say, great training last night. Did you miss it? I like to use questions because I think it often sounds a little bit more personal. You also notice I did not put their name in there because a lot of the time, the first time people get on my list, they don't put their name in there. They don't put their information. So if I don't have that, it would just put in their name, which looks very stupid, and you don't want that. So to avoid that possibility, I just put it in there like I'm talking to them. Okay, and then I leave hi, it's Lynda, and I might even leave that, but this part right here needs to change. So I just got done watching a great training done by our group. I wanted to share it with you. See how simple I'm writing? This is like conversation. You can do this. And then you would have that hyperlink, which is this right here, become wherever you're sending it. It can be to one of the Hangouts that we have every week. Make sure you have replicated it the way it's been taught by Franco so that you have it ready to go and saved in a spreadsheet or wherever you feel comfortable keeping it so that you can just grab it and put it here. Then you would save it again, and then you would send that the next day. This is simply all you have to do to have a regular, basically like a newsletter. You don't call it newsletter. I like to call it broadcast because it's easier to find most of the time. Because if it has just a generic name like newsletter, if you have anything else you call it that, then it makes it harder. You do not need to make a brand new campaign every time you send an email, unless you want to keep it separate from your regular emails and you don't want to edit over the top of it. So this is how you would go about doing this. I suggest that every one of you that does not have this comfortably in their tool chest, in other words, that you're not doing this on a regular basis, to please go through this step by step like I instructed as I did it, and go and do each piece as I instructed you to do. When you complete each step, you might even want to go through this video a couple of times and do it again and again until you get it really comfortably instilled inside of you. And then you want to do this on a daily basis. When you start sharing with them good content, it could be simply just a story you wrote in Facebook, but you want to make this a daily activity. A video is good. It can even be a video that you decided you wanted to share that's not yours, but I suggest you actually upload it into your own Facebook so it doesn't direct somebody to somebody else's content. When you do that, you create a rapport with your leads. Our Power Lead system is already selling to them about the system. And the more you create a rapport by continually sharing with them good stuff, training in particular, people will start to warm up to you, and you will start getting people that you don't know that will actually say yes to this program because they can see that this is a good place for them to be. I hope that's been helpful. Please let me know what you think, and I will be sharing with you how you can get in touch with me personally underneath this video, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Bye for now.